Hello, okay, I've been putting this off for long enough. You guys have been wanting to see what videos I've got on the shelf behind me when I do my YouTube vid, so this video is specially for you. We're going to take a close look at just what videos I've got in my collection. So, if I just perch this on here. Okay, first up, Friday the 13th. This is the old UK pre-cert video that came out back in the days before the film censors had to pass everything. This is the uncut version by Warner Brothers. Was for rental only. Nice big spongy box. After the video recordings that came in 1984, it was withdrawn. It was replaced with this version. That's the same as the US R-rated cut of the film. The reason that Warner's replaced the uncut with the cut version was they feared that the UK censors might be a bit more stringent on video than at the cinema, and feared that if we were going to make cuts then this one might fare better. This one was passed without further cuts, but it was a good few years before we got the uncut version again. Pleased to say the current UK DVD of this is uncut. Also we've got here Friday the 13th Part 2. This was a budget video, it was only a few quid. The original cover of this was the same as the US artwork, but for the budget release they just gave us a basic sleeve. Friday the 13th Part 3. This is the big box X rental version. This one's actually cut, I believe. The scene where the guy that's been split open, dripping blood on that girl in the hammock, that scene's missing from this. Current DVD version's got it back in though. I got the big box X rental version of this because when this one came out on sell-through, they mucked about with the artwork, put these rather naff, I don't know, tear along the bottom saying Horror House Collection or something stupid, which I didn't think looked as nice, so went for this. Same with Friday the 13th, the final chapter, big box X rental. This one's also cut. The scene where Jason gets the machete round the head, all that scene was cut out of this version, though it's uncut now. These are sell-through releases. A smaller box. Friday the 13th, Part 5, UK artwork. Part 6, Jason Lives, one with the Alice Cooper soundtrack, the same as the US artwork. Then probably the back's probably similar to the US release as well. Part 7, The New Blood. Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. This is the UK artwork. I've not seen this artwork on any other release. I know the US artwork was pretty substantially different to this. This one I believe is also cut. Scene where a young lad pulls out a butterfly knife. The censors took a very dim view of fancy weaponry and cut that scene out, believe it or not. You know, of all the scenes they can cut, they cut a scene of a guy pulling a knife out. But anyway, Jason Goes to Hell, the so-called Final Friday. Apparently this is the same as the US R-rated version. Not the best of the series. Halloween. This version came out in the early 90s. It was the first proper video release this film had on the old Channel 5 label, no longer around. Halloween 2. This was the sell-through artwork. The original old rental artwork just had that pumpkin on, but when it finally came out on sell-through in the early 90s, this was the cover they used. Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. UK artwork. Sadly they don't use this artwork now. I think the current DVD is the same as the American artwork, but this is the uncut version. As you probably know, there's two different cuts of this film. One slightly gorier than the other. This is the well, only VHS release I know that's actually uncut, and I think that was more of a mistake than anything. Not sure why there's two cuts of this film. I know the uncut version has been shown on telly, but anyway. Halloween 4, Return of the Michael Myers. Pretty much the same as the US release. Halloween 5. Halloween 6. last film that Donald Pleasance made. Halloween H20. Now, the Evil Dead trilogy. Well, these films are uncut now, but got these in the late 90s when these films were still heavily cut. Got to remember, this was sort of back before we had proper internet shopping and stuff, so you couldn't really pick these up on cut online. Anyway, yeah, that's the old sell-through release. Came out in the late 90s, heavily cut. Evil Dead 2. I think that one was slightly cut. Army of Darkness, the Medieval Dead, the old UK artwork. This one, it's how should I describe it? There was 3 different cuts of the film: the US theatrical cut, the US director's cut, and there was a European cut, which was similar to the US theatrical version, but it had some extra scenes in from the director's cut. This is the European cut, and it's got both endings of the film. It ends with the apocalypse ending, and then it has the alternate ending with him in the supermarket. I think I prefer the one of him in the supermarket, to be honest with you, but yeah. Cinema version of that had the supermarket ending, but they changed it for video. Moving across. Okay, here we have some interesting videos. The Driller Killer. Now, this was released by VIPCo, a British firm, but they didn't release this version in the UK. A lot of their films that were cut in the UK, they released them in Denmark uncut. And this was one of the few titles that they released in Denmark only. Hence, with a strong uncut version. This film is available on DVD over here uncut now, but this was during the early 90s. Similarly, the Toolbox Murders. That was the Danish cover. I mean, they did eventually release this one in the UK, but it got cut. The Slayer. Now again, this is basically, they used the UK sleeve for this, but just stuck, for the Danish release, just stuck the word strong uncut version on. Managed to pick these up at a video fair. That was the one thing about censorship. All it did was make these films that were banned or heavily cut more desirable. Used to be able to pick these up at these video fairs. I mean, they were supposed to be on sale in Denmark only, but they tend to have a habit of finding their way back into the country. The Burning. For a long while, this was the only really way you can see this uncut anywhere. Again, UK sleeve, they just put, you know, strong uncut version stickers over it, even though it says on the back that it's been cut. Zombie Flesh Eaters, uncut, widescreen. One of VIPCo's few widescreen releases. I think VIPCo have packed up now, actually, but anyway. The House by the Cemetery. City of the Living Dead. The Beyond, arguably my favourite cover for this film. Incidentally, a bit of interesting information for you. You know the film Click by Adam Sandler? He goes into that shop, Bath, Beds and Beyond. Well, the section that was marked The Beyond used exactly the same font as this, which I thought was a bit weird. Anyway. Shogun Assassin. That one is uncut in the UK now. Matter of fact, I think all of these are... Yeah, I think all of these are now uncut in the UK, apart from Toolbox Murders. House by the Cemetery got released the other year. Zombie Flesh Eaters you can get uncut on DVD, but only in a box set. Anyway, Nightmares of a Damaged Brain, uncut Dutch video. One of the only ways you can still see this uncut if you've got a DVD rip of this. Till Code Red release their DVD, if that ever gets released. The Primitives, an Indonesian cannibal film. Very bizarre movie. It's a rip-off of Last Cannibal World, basically. It's got some very strange music in it. It rips off music from Star Wars. There's stuff in there from Jean-Michel Jarre. It's even got the song The Robots by Kraftwerk in there as the opening theme. Very strange. And these videos, I'll tell you a little story about these. These uncut Italian films from a company called Cosa Nostra Part Video. Turns out these were actually high professional quality bootlegs of European releases. The guy that used to flog these, I believe he was also a video distributor himself. He just used to make his own sleeves up, copy them, and he used to copied the tapes over, and used to flog these at video fairs under his own label. He also tended to find the way into overseas, video, online sales outlets as well. But yeah, I used to put these up quite cheaply at video fairs. But yeah, Beyond, that's uncut here now, again. House by the Cemetery. City of the Living Dead. The New York Ripper. Lovely, nice, gory picture. Won't show you the back. Cannibal Ferox. Yeah, this is the first time I saw this film. I was on this video here, picked it up from this guy who was at this video fair, and just cover that up. But yeah, I nearly threw up first time I watched this. I believe that was ripped off the Grindhouse Laserdisc. Well, I can prove it. Cannibal Holocaust. This one, if you watch it closely, you can see the word Cult Epics flash up at the beginning, so it's easy to see where we ripped that off from. The Last Cannibal World. Old Dutch X rental. I believe this one's actually a bootleg. That was another thing. A lot of people, because these films were banned, they used to get hold of Dutch, bootleg. Well, they used to get hold of Dutch X rentals and used to copy them. Print out professional sleeves and stuff. Umberto Lenzi's Eaten Alive video. It's the only way I've got to see this film at the minute. I haven't yet picked up the DVD release. But yeah, it's got scenes on there ripped off from other cannibal movies like Last Cannibal World and Night of the Cannibal God and stuff. Okay, moving down. Okay, here we have the Alien film. I'll just move them out of the way. Alien. This was the old sold-through release from the early 90s. Let's see that. Alien Special Edition. There's one scene that's still cut from this. I'm not sure if it's on the new DVD, new Blu-ray box or not. Aliens, this is the original X-Rental release. Got this off eBay. And there's another thing I'll show you. Reversible sleeve. Alien 3. Picked that up at a car boot sale somewhere. Again, this one. Reversible sleeve. Making of Alien 3, that was just a promotional thing. It was only supposed to be sold to, well, only supposed to be available in video shops to promote the release of Alien 3 when it came out, although I picked this up from a market stall, I think. Yeah, I think you can get this on the DVD anyway. Alien Resurrection, I think this was actually one of the last films I bought on VHS, to be honest with you. Either that one or Halloween H20. The Making of RoboCop. I believe the making of was just a US TV series. When RoboCop hit the cinema, they decided to repackage it as some sort of fancy making of special, but it wasn't. It was just a half-hour TV show. Blade Runner, the original sell-through release. This one's the same as the cut R-rated version. When it came out at the cinema, it was the uncut version. I think in America it was cut for the cinema but uncut on video. In the UK it was uncut at the cinema and originally uncut on video, but once the Video Recordings Act came in, they replaced it with this version, which was the cut R-rated release, a bit like Friday the 13th. The director's cut. A Nightmare on Elm Street. This is the uncut version. All current DVD releases of the film are the cut R-rated release. The UK cinema version and the original VHS release here on the 20th Century, CBS Fox label, were all uncut. When the girl falls on the bed, there's a huge blood splash flies up. That's cut out of all other releases except for this one. Intruder, also known as Night of the Intruder. This is an uncut video. It was accidentally released uncut in this country when it first came out. It was quickly replaced with the cut version, but I managed to get hold of the uncut version. I think it was a guy who was trading some tapes who sent me this. Night of the Living Dead, colorised version, the forefront video. This is one thing I didn't like about Forefront. They were a budget label. A lot of their releases originally came out with this rather nasty gold trim. Looked rather naff. They did change it to plain black covers in the end, which was better, but yeah. Anyway, that's the colorised version. Dawn of the Dead, old sell-through release. Originally released in this country as Zombies Dawn of the Dead. I've got a copy of that somewhere on video. I'll come to that shortly. This version was the same as the US theatrical version, but it was heavily cut. It was cut for the cinema, even more cut on video. Day of the Dead. This film was originally cut for video, but then released uncut, surprisingly. Again, my forefront video, budget thing, naff gold sleeve. Straw Dogs. This was banned in the UK for a good number of years. This came out in the early days of video, on both rental and sell-through. Wasn't out on sell-through very long. It quickly got banned when the Video Recordings Act came in. Only came out on DVD a few years ago here, banned for years. The Hidden. If you've seen Jason Goes to Hell, it was heavily ripped off this film about an alien that dives in and out of other people's bodies. Very good movie, very action-packed, good fun, and also has a reversible sleeve. You have black or white. Change that back later. Scanner Force. This was the original UK release of Scanners 3. It's now known as the original US title, Scanners 3 The Takeover. When it first came out, it was known as Scanner Force. Not a brilliant movie, but it's watchable. Tales from the Crypt, the old US TV series. That didn't come out on TV over here for, I think it was the mid-90s or something. So I think it was CRC Video just repackaged several episodes as like an anthology thing. It's got the first 3 episodes, man who was deaf all through the house, and that cat's real gone, which I think were the first 3 episodes in the TV series. Night of the Living Dead, the 1990s version. This one actually did, although it came out in 1990 in America, it didn't come out over here until 1993. Well, it says 1993 release at the top there. Yeah, very good film. Very good remake, a lot better than that god-awful 3D remake with Sid Haig that came out a while back.